is where MAGA comes to talk. All right. So President Trump is causing a panic in D.C. I mean, just 24 hours of panic. One, what I was talking about this morning is he's talking about how the auto-pin pardons are null and void. So there's a lot of big players that are freaking out, right? Like General Milley and Liz Cheney. And then President Trump goes to the Kennedy Center and announces tomorrow they're releasing the JFK files, and it's 80,000 plus pages, which let's get into that. Here's the president talking about it.
We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this.
Oh, yeah.
And I've instructed my people that are responsible, lots of different people, put together by Tulsi Gabbard, and that's going to be released tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome stuff. Nobody waits till after 9 a.m. when I'm off the air, okay? Oh, man. So let me read. This is in the Daily Mail. Trump says all JFK assassination files, totaling over 80,000 pages, will be released tomorrow. Welcome. If you're new to my stream, my name's Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And just reading here from the Daily Mail, President Donald Trump told reporters that his administration will release 80,000 pages of unredacted JFK assassination files. Holy smokes. Terming the trove interesting, but giving little hint of what, if anything, it may add. We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files, so people have been waiting for decades for this, Trump told reporters. Trump spoke about releasing JFK files during his first campaign and term in office, but thousands remain under seal. Remember, he ordered them released in his first term, and these bureaucrats slow-walked it. Then he signed an executive order in January to declassify the remaining JFK files. So over 80,000 pages unredacted. That's awesome. They released these files. They're all redacted. They're meaningless. Trump said that they would come out tomorrow afternoon. Oh, perfect. Asked if he had received the document or would provide an executive summary, Trump allowed, quote, I've heard about them. It's going to be very interesting. He said about 80,000 pages of materials would come out. It's a lot of stuff, and you'll make your own determination, he said, inside the Kennedy Center. You got a lot of reading. I don't believe we're going to redact anything. I said, just don't. But we're going to be releasing the JFK files. They've been waiting for that for decades, and I said during the campaign I'd release them, and I'm a man of my word, so tomorrow you have the JFK files. The substance of what might come out is unclear, but they could include files on a CIA spy chief with a murky role in the affair that emerged last month. The CIA man based in Miami funded a group of Cuban exiles which assassin Lee Harvey Oswald tried to infiltrate weeks before he shot the president in Dallas on November 2nd, 1963. Axios reported in February that the FBI had unearthed 2,400 new documents that could shed light on the enduring mystery of JFK's death. According to Jefferson Morley, a leading expert on the assassination, the new documents could include files on George Joanides, who was chief of covert actions at the CIA station in Miami in 1963. Earlier today, Trump took a 2-hour tour of the Kennedy Center. And, I mean, and this was, he was at the Kennedy Center, and let me pull this up. He was in the box. I got this queued up here. Hold on. This is Trump. He's in the box at the Kennedy Center, and he starts taking some questions. They ask him about J.D. Vance getting booed there. Listen.
We're going to make a lot of changes, including the seats, the decor, pretty much everything. It needs a lot of work.
Mr. President, are you surprised by the reaction that the Vice President got here at the Kennedy Center for the other meeting?
I don't know about that. He's the most popular vice president we've had in years. He's done a great job. I don't know anything about it. I figured you'd ask a question.
Mr. President, what are we talking about price-wise to renovate, to bring it up to,
We're looking at that. whatever it is. I think, it's such an important part of the fabric of the country and of D.C. So we want to do it right. We'll do it right, and we'll do it once.
Yeah, and it's really cool. He's in the box. He's got the presidential seal in front of him. Now, the thing with this, tomorrow is going to be one of the biggest news days, like in forever, right? Because we got the JFK files coming out in the afternoon. And at some point tomorrow, President Trump's going to have a phone conversation with Putin. Now, on my podcast, which drops at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on YouTube, I get into that phone call with Putin. So we're going to have the Putin phone call and the JFK files on the same day. It's going to be media freaking overload. I mean, my goodness. Who's going to have time to absorb all that tomorrow? Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. But, while I'm not expecting a lot out of the JFK files, we could be surprised. We could be incredibly surprised. Everybody connected with that's pretty much dead. Who could be left alive that was involved in that? Not very many people. If they're alive, they're, senile like Biden. So those powers that be aren't around to cause mischief with the files. Yep, kill Gallon. Yep, that's true. That is very, very, very true. Now, the Democrats have been doing, the Democrats are just stupid. I mean, they talk about these 80-20 issues. They're taking the wrong position on the 98-2% issues. Like, they're taking this position against deporting rapists and murderers that have illegally invaded our country from Venezuela, right? And Stephen Miller was on with Martha McCallum on Fox. And make no mistake about it, Martha McCallum hates Trump. I know she pretends she doesn't a lot, but she hates Trump. Listen to this. This is Stephen Miller with Martha McCallum on Fox today.
But let me play this first from somebody who I know is not a favorite of President Trump. This is Andrew Weissman, who's a former top Mueller prosecutor. Of course, it's not a huge surprise that he didn't like this operation. He doesn't think it's legal under the act that you just mentioned, Stephen. Watch.
Okay, so it's not legal to deport people that are here illegally, that are raping and murdering and doing all kinds of other crime.
We're not at war with Venezuela. We're not at war with the gang that is the subject of the executive order. There is no invasion that is going on. And you also have to show that the people you're removing are actually part of that gang, even if there were an invasion or a war.
Now, this guy used to be senior counsel at the FBI.
And this statute may, in fact, be very unconstitutional.
So the judge has to be...
now, listen to Stephen Miller's response to Weissman. This is beautiful.
Convinced that these individuals aren't really... I mean, it's a huge group, and, nobody's going to miss any of these people, but they're quantifiable. So can you prove that these individuals were linked with Tren de Aragua and that Tren de Aragua is part of a Maduro operation, Stephen?
So first of all, Andrew Weissman is an absolute moron. He is a moron, and he is a fool, and he's a degenerate. Andrew Weissman has devoted his career to putting innocent Americans in jail, taking away their civil liberties. He was involved in the Mueller coup against a democratically elected President Donald J. Trump. Weissman should never be on TV anywhere. He should hang his head in eternal shame.
Did he say shit? It sounded like he said he should hang his shit. Bad brother, thank you so much.
Taking away their civil liberties. He was involved in the Mueller coup against a democratically elected President Donald J. Trump. Weissman should never be on TV anywhere. He should hang his head in eternal shame for what he's done to this country. And now he's up there shilling for people who rape and murder Americans. That's who Andrew Weissman is. I met the mother of Jocelyn Nungary, Alexis Nungary, who President Trump honored at the State of the Union, named a national wildlife refuge after her daughter. Tren de Aragua terrorists took that 12-year-old angel and they tortured her to death. They sexually assaulted her. They stripped her and they dumped her body in a river. That's who President Trump has deported from this country. Behind every single one of those terrorists was another future rape victim, another future sex trafficking victim, another future murder victim. And most importantly, every one of those people was here illegally. They have no right no right to be in this country for 1 second longer. They are illegal aliens, they are foreign terrorists, they are alien enemies. And the law at the heart of this issue was signed in the founding generation of this country, the same generation that wrote our Constitution. People say, oh, it's an 18th century law. You know what else is an 18th century law? The Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights of the United States. The founding generation gave us this law, gave President Trump this law to repel this invasion from our country.
there's
and it
no
was all detailed in the proclamation, how this gang was sent here by a foreign government, and President Trump is sending them out of this country.
Well, we look forward to...
Yeah, Martha McCallum's deep state handlers are talking in her earpiece. You're letting Miller go on too much truth coming out here. You got to slow it down. Welcome everyone. Yeah, I know. This is what winning's like. Who would have thought that things would go so well? And I just saw too a couple hours ago, Dan Bongino's on the job at the FBI. So I think he's got his handcuffs. He got his badge. He's got his handcuffs. He's ready to go. So everything is going well. Now my podcast is going to be live at 7 o'clock on YouTube here, and it's a live premiere, so there's a live chat. In fact, when I end this, the chat is already there, so you can jump over to that chat and keep chatting, but it'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it, okay? But yeah, a lot happening tomorrow. I mean, what are you guys expecting in the JFK files? They're very, you would be surprised. You know, there's a lot of these JFK experts that will go through these files and see things that you or I might not think anything of, and they'll see a connection. They'll see something. They'll see a name. They'll see a reference. So my original thought was probably not a lot, but the more I think about it, we might get some big surprises from the JFK files. We know this. The same people that shot President Kennedy shot President Trump, right? Do you agree with that? Yes, sir. Same people that shot Kennedy shot Trump and Butler. I would say so. Well, the same organizations, same outfits. Oh. If there was nothing in the files, they would not have worked so hard to keep them from. And unredacted. Trump said unredacted. You know, why would they fight so hard to keep them from us if there was nothing in them? Exactly. Exactly. If you ever go to Dallas, you should take that tour. I was there years ago with my father-in-law, and we went into the book depository, and Dealey Plaza is amazing. And you go to the book depository, and you go up to the floor where Oswald was. I can't remember does anybody remember what floor number he was on? You get out of the elevator, and it's a museum about JFK's whole life, and then you get to the window where Oswald was. It takes you right there. It's amazing. Oh, LBJ, absolutely LBJ was in on it. Are you kidding? LBJ was in on it. Why? I mean, think about this. President Kennedy was campaigning in Texas for re-election, right? Why wasn't LBJ there? He was the senator from Texas. That's why they picked him to be vice president. Why wasn't he there? And there were two future presidents in Dallas that day, President Nixon and President Bush, the father. Both were in Dallas that day. What are the odds of that? Out of all the country, Bush and Nixon both there. Yep, H.W. Bush was there, and Nixon was there that day. Mm-hmm. I'm a very real person, absolutely. What am I supposed to respond to? To the trolls? Did you ask a question, or you just... If you got a question, I might respond to it. I'm not promising. But, oh yeah, this is great. This is great. You know, the Putin phone call is going to freak them out. The media is going to be totally freaked out over the Putin call, because you know what's going to happen. Whatever happens with the ceasefire and the eventual peace, Putin's going to get to keep some of Ukraine, right? He's going to. He's not going to leave all of Ukraine. He's going to get that Donbass region, which I got a call a couple days ago. It wasn't that long ago. Ukraine was bombing Donbass before this war began. Mm-hmm. Dublin, Ireland. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I tell you, that Irish Prime Minister last week was so polite and respectful, wasn't he, of President Trump and the whole country? That's how Canada should be acting. But, they're not. I wanted to play this other clip. Okay, this is the one. This is Carolyn Levitt today. The French are talking about they want the Statue of Liberty back, okay? And Carolyn Levitt was asked about it in the White House press briefing today.
And something different. There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
Yeah, and remember, a third of France, the Vichy, they were with Hitler. So they were a third of the country collaborated with Hitler. I know, that was amazing. She's I wasn't sure about her because she's so young. She's very good. She's very good. She's the best press secretary we've had in a long time. She's better than McEnany. What makes her better than McEnany is McEnany had too many notes, right? She had that whole portable filing cabinet, where she had those files with all the tabs in them. And Carolyn Levitt, this is just right off the top of her head, which makes the zingers even better. I'm sorry for the French people, but Plus, they're harboring Roman Polanski. I mean, what a bunch of creeps. Press secretary is very important, and everybody he brought in this time, not just her, but the cabinet, they're very good with the press. I mean, they're very good with the press. On my podcast later, you'll hear Tom Homan. Tom Homan had the biggest mic drop I've ever seen with a reporter. I'll play it on the podcast. You'll hear it later. Most of Europe doesn't speak German thanks to him. Yeah, it's still there. And what do? They crap on us. They hate us. Tariffs are a tax cut for the American people, yeah. One of President Trump's, was it a cabinet? I can't remember who said it last week, but it was either a cabinet member or a senior advisor last week, said that Trump's goal is to eliminate income taxes on everyone making less than $150,000 a year. And I wonder what that is for married couples. It might be $300,000 for married couples. So no one will pay income tax, and he will pay for it with the tariffs. That's it. What's wrong with that? Right? The only people against that, and look at all this money that Elon is finding that they're wasting. Just on the money that Elon's cutting could cover that, probably. Tariffs by law are only supposed to be used if America is under threat. That's not true. In fact, up until right before World War I, there was no income tax. The entire country operated with just import taxes. And the most powerful job, the most sought-after job in government, other than president, was to be in charge of the New York Port Authority, because that's where the Port of New York is where most of the import taxes were collected, and that supported the entire country. Now, there's more people now, but there's more things being imported, and we're buying more, and things cost a lot more money now. So the whole country ran for a long time just on import taxes. And, the United States, the American Revolution, was a tax revolt, right? And the Stamp Act and all the taxes that the king put on do you know what percentage? Like right now, most Americans are paying 50% or more in taxes. Income tax, payroll tax, renew your auto plates, toll roads, all those are taxes. Most Americans are paying 50% or more in taxes. Do you know what the king's taxes were on the American colonies? What percentage? Do you know what it was? And they fought a revolution. 3%. It was a 3% tax, the Stamp Act. 3%. So the 13 colonies fought an entire bloody revolution over a 3% tax. That's crazy when you look at how taxed we are now. Plus, a lot of America, here in Florida, we don't have a state income tax, but how many of you are in states that have a state income tax? That's crazy. I don't know how people do it. Oh, I love the trolls. You probably don't understand how terrorists work, dum-dum. Well, if you're calling me a dum-dum, maybe you should use the right words. Do you mean how tariffs work or terrorists? I don't know how terrorists works. How does terrorists works? And what is terrorists? I don't know. I'm a dum-dum. So I don't know how terrorists works. Yeah, 3%. That's nothing. We would beg for a 3% tax right now. You got to check what you type before you call. If you're going to call someone a dum-dum, proofread before you post the comment. No, Florida is a very big state. We have the second largest population of any state. We're behind California, but we're going to pass California soon. So, and Florida is big. I tell this to people a lot. Florida is much bigger than people realize. You know, to go from the southernmost point to the northernmost point is like a 12-hour drive, 10, 12-hour drive. So Florida is huge. We have 2 time zones, and we have no state income tax. And do you know what pays for everything in Florida? It's a great state. You know what it does? Tourism taxes, right? Hotel taxes, tourism taxes. So tourists, beaches, Disney World and all that. No, not sales tax. Most of it is tourist tax, which is kind of like an equivalent to an import tax. You know, you rent a hotel room, it's like a 10% or more tax on a hotel room. No, we passed New York. We passed New York. So we're behind California, but we're going to be the most populated if things continue. But everything is paid for with mostly tourist tax. There is not an 8.25% sales tax. Oh, in Texas, I thought you said Florida. Our sales tax is too high. It's like 6.5%, something like that. Yep. People's Republic of California. That's exactly right. You know, so if a state this large can do as well as it does without a state income tax, why can't the others? Because, you know, all those states, they're like Washington. They're stealing all the tax money, paying off their friends, paying each other. The Florida Project, that movie, yes, I've seen that movie. William Dafoe, yes. Sad movie. Yeah, Florida's doing great. We got no money problems. Florida has like a surplus. Ron DeSantis should give us money back. But, you know, Ron DeSantis is pissed at us. Different counties have different taxes. And plus we have great weather. So no income tax. It's in the Florida State Constitution can have an income tax. So if Florida can support itself without an income tax, why can't the whole country support itself without income taxes on people making under $150,000 a year? Oh, that is very true. That is very true. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Now, Dan Bongino reported for duty today. Who do you think Dan Bongino is going to arrest first? Oh, yeah, we have, not only do we have low property taxes in Florida, we have something that you guys don't have in a lot of states called homestead exemption. You get a big tax break on your property taxes in your residence. Who do you think Dan Bongino will arrest first? Will they go after the lawfare people, Judge Merchan? Who do you think? There's a lot of people to go after. Fauci? Me? I don't know. Why would Dan Bongino arrest me? Not all states have homestead exemptions. Nope. Some do. A lot don't. Florida's one of them. Zelensky. How many states have as much tourism as Florida? Do you think Idaho can support itself on tourism? There's like 12 people in Idaho. Tiny population. Liz Cheney. That's a good one. That's a good one. I would like, if I were to pick, I would like them to go and arrest Fannie Willis and Letitia James. Those would be my two first picks. Letitia James and Fannie Willis. Bring them in for questioning. They'll lie and arrest them for lying to federal agents. And then do a deeper investigation and charge them with a lot of other things. Obama, we got to be about realistic. Dan Bongino's not going to arrest Obama. Elon Musk has the highest security clearance you can have because he launches spaceships. Oh, yeah, Elon Musk's rescue mission from the space station, they're going to be returning to Earth tomorrow. They're leaving the space station like in 6-7 hours. The first rescue mission in the history of the space program. Elon Musk is doing it right now. It's not even in the news because they hate him so much because he's MAGA. No, they don't. That's amazing. I was talking about this earlier. This rescue mission is also being led by women. The commander and the pilot of the SpaceX ship are both women, an Army colonel and an Air Force major. Elon Musk sent 2 women to do, and I was talking about this on the radio this morning. As far as I know, these 2 women leading, female commander, female pilot on the SpaceX Crew 10 on this rescue mission from the Boeing flight to the space station. It's the first rescue mission in the history of the space program. This is I'm not talking about just the space program. I'm talking about everything of historical significance. This is the first thing that women are the first to do. There's always been like the first woman in space was not the first person in space. First woman in space was a Russian, right? But there were, Gagarin went up before her and some others. She was not the first person in space. Sally Ride went to space. She was the first American woman in space, but not the first American in space, right? So usually in every other instance, when a woman does something, they're the first woman to do it. These 2 women are the first people to do it. Now, I don't know if you can think of an example of something historically significant like the space rescue mission that women are the first people to have done it. Let me know, because I can't think of anything. The first female admiral, the first female this, these are the first people to do it. It's very historically significant, especially for women, and the media aren't covering it. It's like the wokesters' fantasy. The only thing that can make it better for the wokesters is if they, one of them was trans or something. But maybe one of them's gay. I don't know. 2 women in the military, who knows? I cannot think of anything historic other than this where women have been the first to do it, first person to do it. Not the first woman, the first person. Can you think of any? When has a woman been the first person to do something huge and historically significant like this? I've been racking my brain. I can't think of anything. Can you? No. Now, this is the first time this has happened. Yeah, it's amazing. And no mention in the news. No books. They're not going to have posters in classrooms about it. Nothing. It's true, Kevin. It's true. Now, if you can think of something like this, I'm open to hear it. I'm not talking about someone who invented something. I'm talking about doing something, right? Like the first woman to break the sound barrier wasn't the first person to break the sound barrier, right? Chuck Yeager was. So I'm talking about like something historic, adventurous, dangerous, First woman to fly across the Atlantic. Not the first person, right? You understand what I'm saying? Something that's adventurous, risky, historic. Never before. First time ever. This is really, if you think about it, this SpaceX rescue mission is maybe one of the 2 or 3 most historic things that a woman has ever done. Amelia Earhart did not, no. She was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, but not the first person. Big difference. It's true. No, I'm not attacking. I'm just saying that the media should give a little more attention and respect to these women that are doing this rescue mission. Amelia Earhart, the first woman to not fly around the world. That's correct. I'm not talking about an invention or a discovery. I'm talking about something historically adventurous and risky. Flight, things like that. I'm not talking about discovering something in a laboratory. Yeah, I know. And Donald Trump sent the mission up. It's on an Elon Musk rocket. And because of that, no history books. I mean, I remember when Sally Ride went into space. She was on the front page of every newspaper in America. She was not even the first woman in space. But they made a big deal about her. They wrote books about her. They make TV movies. Right? And these 2 women, they're not going to get any books, no movies, no parades. They're not going to be part of the school curriculum. They're not going to be in textbooks. They're not going to be on the wall on Women's History Month or anything because Trump and Elon Musk are MAGA. And these women could both be hardcore gay Democrat women. I don't know anything about them. I know, it's amazing. Well, I'm giving them plenty of recognition. I've been talking about them all week. I think it's super cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. They're brave heroines. We'll use the right gender. Oh, Elon's awesome. Elon Musk on my podcast goes live at 7 here, so don't miss it. But Elon Musk dropped something today that Doge found out that I had not heard of, and I shared on the podcast. It was huge. And Doge just posted that they have found $115 billion with a B, $115 billion with a B in government waste that they've shut down. But this new thing that Elon dropped today, I talked about it on the podcast, it blew my freaking mind. What lies, Missy? Are your colors the color of Ukraine? Oh my God. Is that the color of the Ukrainian flag? The first bud. That's right. Mm-hmm. Show the receipt. It's all on the Doge government website. What is it? Doge.gov. It's all there. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't cutting out all this, they call it government waste, but it's really, why did Stacey Abrams get $1.9 billion to buy appliances? Give me a break. How many Yeah, the numbers change every day because they're finding more crap. Mm-hmm. Doge was started by Obama. Now all of a sudden they don't like it. They liked it when Obama did it. Mm-hmm. No, Ukraine's not done, but Zelensky is. Well, Stacey Abrams got $1.9 billion with a B from the government. No accountability. She bought a few hundred appliances. What happened to the rest of the money? I'd like to know what kind of house she and her family live in now, and what kind of house her family lived in before the 1.9 billion. And by I mean her family, I'm also talking about her extended family, her parents if they're alive, brothers, sisters, and all that. I'd like to know what kind of car she drives now and what she used to drive. Wouldn't you like to know those questions? That might explain where the 1.9 billion went. I don't know. No, they're there now. The SpaceX ship, they had a scrub launch on, was it Wednesday or Thursday? And then they launched, was it Friday they launched? Yeah, I think they launched on Friday. They went back. And then Elon launched another rocket for Starlink on Saturday. I saw the one from my driveway. I saw the Saturday launch, just a little bit. It was pretty cloudy. No, they're leaving the space station tonight, and I think their splashdown is tomorrow around 5, maybe this time. I can't remember the exact time, but they're going to splash down tomorrow. And there's going to be 3 women and 1 guy on the space capsule. It's really amazing. It's very exciting. I was just watching a video about the SpaceX capsule. It's really amazing. They've got all the, basically it looks like it runs on iPads, but they also have some of the controls. They have the buttons and everything else, just in case the computers go down. But it's amazing. It can hold 7 people. But they only have 4 seats in it, so they can take up more cargo. Oh, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Well, listen, guys, I'll see you in the chat room on my podcast later, the Brian Craig Show podcast. It will go live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 50 minutes from now on this channel. If you're new, subscribe. And if you're already subbed, please like the video. Now, the chat for the podcast is already active, so you can hop over to the chat right now from here. And there'll be a live chat during the whole podcast. All right? I'll see you. Take care. Thanks for watching. I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk.